Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are digging into a fascinating set of sources that really connect the dots between high-stakes investment strategy and, believe it or not, ancient philosophy. We're looking at the ideas of investor and author Vitaliy Katsenelson, a man who took lessons from, escaping Soviet Russia, building a huge career in investing, and then used all that to design a better life.
It's a really unusual combination, isn't it? Bridging the financial and the existential. We're basically looking at the most important investment you can ever make, the one in your own life. Our mission today is to sort of pull out a practical operating system
Yeah.
from his work, something to maximize meaning and, frankly, cut down on all that unnecessary stress that we all feel.
Absolutely. And the sources go way beyond the typical advice of, what to buy or what career move to make. They focus entirely on how to be.
Yeah.
So the real question for this deep dive is, what are the non-financial secrets to achieving what he calls soul in the game?
Soul in the game. I mean, it's such a powerful phrase. It takes Nassim Taleb's idea of skin in the game and just elevates it. Skin in the game is about sharing risk, right? You eat your own cooking. But soul in the game, that's about total dedication to your craft, where your self-worth is completely interwoven with what you create.
It's the highest form of responsibility, really.
Yeah.
Your identity and the quality of your work are just inseparable.
Yeah.
The source used this incredible example, and I think it just perfectly nails the concept. Jiro Ono, the sushi chef in Tokyo.
From Tsukibashi Jiro, a tiny 10-seat restaurant in a subway station. And yet, it was the first sushi restaurant to ever get 3 Michelin stars. I mean,
Yeah.
the documentary about him isn't called Jiro Makes Good Sushi.
No, it's Jiro dreams of sushi.
Exactly. He's so deep in his craft that the ideas literally come to him in his sleep.
That level of obsession is it's almost shocking in our world today. And the one detail that brings it home for me is his discovery about the octopus.
Oh, right.
He didn't just accept the industry standard of massaging it for 30 minutes.
No, he found that if he did it for 45 minutes, a full 45.
That extra 15 minutes was the key. That's what unlocked the real flavor.
And just think about what that means. In any normal business, if 15 extra minutes of labor doesn't make you more money, you cut it instantly. But Jiro isn't driven by profit. He's driven by perfecting the craft. Quality comes first. The fact that he's world famous and successful is just a byproduct.
A consequence of his dedication. He doesn't need to expand beyond those 10 seats because he's already won the game he's playing.
That completely reframes the whole purpose of work, doesn't it? You go from being a professional to being an artisan.
And the author points out that this artisan's code is built on a few core principles we can all use.
The first is what he calls sacred taboos. It's about setting your non-negotiables, your lines of integrity, before you're under pressure.
The story about his father in Soviet Russia is so powerful. A professor refusing to take a bribe for a passing grade, even when his family desperately needed money for medicine.
He just wouldn't do it. He tutored the student instead, until they actually earned the grade. That was his line.
And for us, today, a sacred taboo might be something smaller, like I will not check my email after 7 p.m.
Or, I won't compromise the quality of this work, even if it means missing a soft deadline. It's about deciding what you won't do for short-term gain. That's what defines your character.
And that integrity, that feeds right into the second principle, being a student of life.
Mm-hmm.
Basically keeping your ego in check and always being ready to learn.
Absolutely. The author's own father, a PhD and a successful artist, was taking master classes in his 70s from people he admired. The moment you think you know it all is the moment you start to fossilize. Your craft just atrophies.
Which connects to the third part, single focus and continuous improvement. It's that relentless drive to get better. The source brings up Claude Monet, who rented a flat just to paint the Rouen Cathedral.
30 times.
30 times
Yeah.
over 3 years. Not because he needed a new subject, but because he was obsessed with how the light changed.
That's how you find the 45-minute octopus massage in your own life.
Okay, but that level of dedication, it creates a lot of stress. If your self-worth is tied to your craft, you need a mental framework, an operating system, to handle the inevitable failures and pressures.
And that's where the second part of this system comes in, stoicism. Because if we don't consciously install our own mental OS, we just run on whatever random buggy programming we inherited from our childhood or our environment.
So Stoicism provides a logical, practical blueprint.
And the most powerful tool in that blueprint is the dichotomy of control. It's from Epictetus, mostly. It's about constantly, actively separating what is up to you.
Our actions, our opinions, our effort.
Right, from what is not up to you, which is, well, basically everything else.
Outcomes, reputation, other people, the economy.
The application of this is just immediate. It's revolutionary. The author talks about studying for the CFA exams.
Which are famously brutal.
Right. And his goal was to pass the exam. But that's an external outcome. It depends on the test difficulty, whether he's sick that day.
All things he can't control. So it's inherently stressful.
Exactly. His goal should have been an internal one, a process goal, to do the best possible job studying. The effort is controllable, the score is not. Worrying about the score just created months of anxiety.
And that applies to everything. In relationships, you focus on being a good, caring partner. That's the internal process. You stop stressing about trying to make someone love you, which is an external outcome you just can't control.
But here's the tough part. What if you do the process perfectly? You study like a machine, you're the perfect partner, and you still fail. The relationship still ends.
That's the sticking point, isn't it? We feel like if we do the work, we're entitled to the outcome.
The Stoic answer is that, yeah, the outcome can still hurt, but the internal damage is way less because your integrity is intact. You know you did everything within your power. You might be sad about the loss, but you're not crushed by the guilt of having failed at something you could control. That's the psychological payoff.
Okay, that takes some serious mental reprogramming. Which brings us to the second tool, which sounds really counterintuitive. Negative visualization.
It sounds so morbid, right? Like you're just inviting misery into your life by imagining loss.
So you're supposed to sit around thinking about losing your job or your health or a loved one. Why on earth would you do that?
Because it's not about inviting pain. It's about appreciating what you have right now and reducing the shock of future pain. The mind gets used to good things so quickly. That new car is exciting for, what, a week? Before it's just your car?
It becomes the new baseline.
Right. By imagining its loss, you reset your appreciation. You become grateful again for the coffee in your hand, the roof over your head, the person sitting across from you.
It's that idea of setting your mental egg timer to 6 months. Not to be morbid about death, but to force prioritization.
Exactly. And the story of Randy Pausch, the professor with terminal cancer, is the ultimate example of this. He just bought this brand new convertible, and to teach his nieces and nephews a lesson, he takes a can of soda.
Oh, I remember this.
And just pours it all over the pristine back seat.
It's such a shocking image because we have such a strong attachment to things, especially new things.
But his point was so simple. People are more important than things. By ruining the perfectness of the car, he was showing them that he'd set his egg timer. He was choosing relationships and joy over worrying about a car scratch. The whole exercise is designed to pull you away from trivial anxieties and back toward, as the author says, inhaling life.
So once you have that philosophical OS in place, you need the daily apps, the concrete, actionable habits.
Right, because success comes from systems, not from goals. It's about building an identity through repeated beingness, as James Clear would say.
And the best example of this is the half-binary decision, the I don't eat dessert strategy.
Yeah, you'd think allowing yourself a treat 2% of the time is flexible and smart, but it means that every single day you have to use willpower to make that decision, and willpower is finite.
It's a limited resource.
So by making it a firm binary rule, just don't do that, you eliminate the decision.
It becomes a non-decision. You've given your subconscious a clear piece of code to run, and it frees up all that mental energy.
And that leads right into geofencing your pleasures. The author uses a 92% 8% rule for his diet.
So 92% of the time when he's home, he's super strict. Food is fuel.
But the other 8% of the time when he's traveling, on vacation, he eats whatever he wants, guilt-free.
And that idea came from his experience with soda, right?
Yeah, a great little anecdote. He moves to the U.S., soda is everywhere, so he drinks it like water, and pretty soon, that unique tingling sweetness, it was just gone. It was just sugary water. Abundance devalued the experience.
So now he rarely drinks it, which makes every sip an actual treat to be savored.
And we can't talk about mental efficiency and focus without talking about the elephant in the room for high achievers.
Sleep, which everyone treats as optional.
But it's not. It's mandatory maintenance for your brain. Lack of sleep accumulates. It destroys your immune system, your cognitive reserves.
Your creativity is the first thing to go. So the practical tips here are pretty straightforward. A cool room around 65 Fahrenheit is ideal. And crucially, managing light. Dim the lights, get off the screens an hour or two before bed to let your melatonin actually do its job.
And all of this, the habits, the sleep, it all connects to our most finite resource, our attention. Meditation is described so well here. It's just attending a party in your own head.
I like that.
You're just becoming a calm, non-judgmental observer of your own thoughts.
And that practice buys you a few crucial seconds. There's a 90-second rule, right?
Yeah, from the neuroanatomist.
Hmm.
It takes about 90 seconds for the chemicals of an emotion, like anger, to flood your system and then dissipate.
So any anger that lasts longer than 90 seconds.
Is a choice. You are choosing to keep that emotional loop going. Meditation helps you catch that feeling in the first 90 seconds, observe it, and then choose a better response.
So ultimately, all this preparation, this mental programming, it all comes down to how we invest our final resources,
Mm.
our time and our attention.
And the financial link is clear. Money provides the most value when it buys things we actually value: time, experiences, health. The author mentions reframing savings as sinking funds. You're not just saving, you're actively allocating money toward an intentional future.
But that intention gets lost so easily.
Yeah.
There's that devastating story of the Yale-educated lawyer who worked 16-hour days, died, and left his family $100 million.
And his son said he would trade all of it, every penny.
Yeah, he said, I never saw that man. He just wanted a father who was present.
It makes you wonder what game we're all playing. Work can become like a video game where money is just the score. But we forget that it comes at the expense of our most important currency, our attention to the people we love.
And the numbers are just staggering. By the time your kids finish high school, something like 93% of the total time you'll ever spend with them is over.
When you hear that, it changes things. It means every moment you're together has to be 100% attention, no phones, no divided focus.
And this all culminates in a concept he calls the parents of La Mancha.
Like Don Quixote, he saw the beautiful Lady Dulcinea in the common farm girl Aldonza. It's about giving your children the gift of unconditional belief.
Seeing a greater person in them than they see in themselves. Telling them, and meaning it, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. That belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And that brings it all full circle, doesn't it? We started with the artisan's dedication, like Jiro, then the mental control of stoicism, the efficiency of habits, like the half-binary decision, and finally, investing your most precious asset, your attention, in your family and your purpose.
It's a complete blueprint. You think of Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. He lost his entire fortune in a shipwreck, and he called it his most profitable journey. He lost everything external, but he gained the internal framework to live a meaningful life.
And that's really the core of it, for you, the listener. We're all being programmed all the time, by ads, by social media, by our own unchecked assumptions. The real choice isn't between success and failure. It's between letting your life just happen to you, letting it run on random stressful code, or consciously choosing to design and program your own operating system for a deeply meaningful existence.
That system is up to you to build. Thank you for diving deep with us today.